Yo, what's up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Hot Mic here on the Outlaw Nation channel. I am John Rocha, joined as always by this man, the Sneider himself, Jeff Sneider. How are you, Jeff?
Hello, Johnny boy! Woohoo, baby! How are you?
Good. I'm good, man. What a week of news. A lot of stuff has been going on in the world of entertainment. Jeff, we got all kinds of stuff going on. Marvel news, DC news, Star Wars news, stuff with all the films coming out, new trailers. Like, it's a madhouse as we're going into the thick of the summer movie season here. So there's a lot for us to discuss here on the Hot Mic. Where are you at on everything, man? Are you starting to get a little exhausted by all the stuff you're having to write about and cover here? Where are we at right now?
Oh, I'm exhausted. All right. Look into my eyes. I'm exhausted. I mean, it's like if you get a story and then you have to and you have to wait overnight. I just can't sleep. I'm just like thinking about like, am I going to wake up and is this story going to be on deadline? Things are fine. Things are good. Don't worry about it. I got a lot of stuff dropping over the next week.
Nice.
You know, every time I get fucked over and complain, everyone, bitches about me bitching, right? They love to complain about me complaining. But complaining gets you somewhere because people do feel bad for you and they come out of the woodwork and they're like, oh, man, that's terrible what happened. Here's what I'm hearing.
Wow. So they come out to hell. Oh, there you go. So
I'm armed. I'm locked and loaded. So if this town wants to go to war, over the next 2 weeks, let's do it.
All right. We're going to see. It's going to be an interesting situation for sure. So we will see. All right, so we got so much to get into here on the channel, and of course, or on the show rather. And as I said from the beginning, this is the Hot Mic, and you know that Streamlabs super chats are important on the Hot Mic. And already we've got 6 super chats that have come through. So send in your love, send in support. I'm going to put the Streamlabs address in the chat. It's also there right above Jeff's head. There you go. Streamlabs.com at John Rocha says. Send it in. Give us some love here for us throughout the show. All right, Jeff. Let's start though with the thing you dropped today, this Street Fighter story that dropped today on your newsletter. This is an exclusive, and this is how it reads. Hot Off is sure to be Emmy nominated turn in HBO's The White Lotus, and also putting the kibosh on his feud with Amy Lee Wood. Walton Goggins is in talks to join the cast of the legendary Street Fighter movie, along with singer Orville Peck and comedian Eric Andre. Andrew Koji and Noah Centineo lead the cast, which is also expected to include Jason Momoa and Roman Reigns. Recognize. So what do you think of this development, Jeff? Were you surprised when you heard the names, and where are we going with this?
I mean, a little surprised because I thought Walton Goggins is sort of having a moment and flying pretty high right now.
Yeah.
I thought he might land something maybe a little bit more prestigious, but at the same time, it's also maybe time to get a nice movie paycheck. He's not a guy who you see in a lot of movie stuff.
Yeah, right.
More of like definitely more of like a big TV star. But like the villain in Street Fighter, that's not bad. And replacing a great actor like Raul Julia.
Yes.
It made sense to me. Mm-hmm. And then there's Orville Peck, who's like a well-known singer. He always wears a mask, and he's gonna, he's in talks to play the Masque character Vega. And then Eric Andre would be the ring guy, like the announcer. And he, starred in Bad Trip, which was Kitao Sakurai's, prior movie. So that makes sense.
It's an interesting casting because Orville Peck is an openly gay country music singer. So putting him into this world of Street Fighter is a fascinating decision. And he's playing Vega, who is the masked fighter who employs a combination of Japanese ninjutsu and Spanish bullfighting, as you put in your article. And yes, Goggins is nearing a deal to play M. Bison, the film's main antagonist. So look, Goggins this is what Goggins has been doing his entire career, is playing these roles in these movies, as you said, when he gets a chance to be in movies, right? Even in Ant-Man and the Wasp, he is like a smaller villainous part in the movie, but he's not a big part of the movie. So he makes these decisions because he knows his bread is buttered, it seems like, on the TV side. White Lotus, Justified, and of course, recently Fallout. So this is where he finds his most success on the small screen. So I like this. And Eric Andre slowly starting to develop here. I don't know how you feel about this, Jeff, but it feels like he's slowly starting to move into movies, and he's getting more attention for being a part of these movies than some of the comedic stuff he's done in the past. So, I mean, he was in the Jackass film recently, and there's other things he's starting.
He's got a lot of stuff going on. He's got this Mark Wahlberg, Peter Farrelly movie.
Right.
He's doing Little Brother with John Cena. He's in Ironheart, which I didn't even think I realized. Yeah, he's got a lot of irons in the fire.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I think it's you make a concerted effort that you want to go there, and the doors open up. So it seems like either he's switched management or he's made it a point to try to get himself in front of these people so that they give him more opportunities. And it's going to be curious to see. So what is your energy though? What's your vibe about this movie? Hearing all of these other people that are going to be involved in it, does this feel like something above like what we got with Mortal Kombat? Does this feel like we're going to possibly?
I do. I think it's definitely simply by virtue of Momoa's presence. I think, and now with Goggins, like I do think that it is bigger than Mortal Kombat. I don't know if that'll prove to be true at the box office or anything. Like, if I had to pick, I was probably a Mortal Kombat guy more than Street Fighter growing up. I mean, I played a lot of both games. Like these modern games that people are always talking about. I didn't play those, but Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter definitely. Yeah. But yeah, I saw the original like Van Damme movie. There's certainly room for improvement, and I do like the direction that this is going.
Yeah, I agree. I think so too. And I got fooled by Mortal Kombat. It isn't the same level of people who are going to be involved in. These are not to be in any way trying to be insulting, but these are higher level actors that you're dealing with and creators that you're dealing with in this project. So that gets me excited to see what the end result is going to be. And certainly we're in a position where we're seeing a lot of positive video game adaptations to live action, and Goggins being part of one with Fallout. So this hopefully is turning around that entire stigma of video game adaptations. But I thought it was doing that because they've been more cinematic, these video games, but Street Fighter clearly wasn't one of those things. So this could be an interesting adaptation that works really well for that particular franchise.
Video games are hot right now between Minecraft and Super Mario and Sonic and just like so many other things. What are they doing? Zelda next, right? So I think that this project makes sense for Legendary, for Sony. They probably don't need to break the bank on it. If they can keep the budget to, I don't know, you tell me, 60, 75, something like that. 80 maybe.
Probably 80, yeah. I would say 80, especially with all the people involved. I would think 80.
You just need some cool, yes, there are special effects involved. Like I think Jason Momoa can he has like electrical powers and shit like that. Yeah. So it's not just like a straight fight film. There's going to be flights of fancy, if you will. But I think if Sony is usually pretty good at and responsible at keeping budgets down, I think this could actually turn a nice profit.
Well, staying with the video game situation, I keep hearing the Hunter Schaefer thing. Is this on again, off again? Is this happening? Is this not happening with her playing Zelda in the live action Legend of Zelda? You mentioned Zelda. Do you think they will be the choice, or do you think they're not going to be the choice? What are you hearing on this? Anything?
I haven't heard one way or the other. I think that she would be great. I'm a fan. I think she's a good actress. I think she's very attractive, and it's just a matter of what. Like, I'd be surprised in the sense, just like that Nintendo or whoever would maybe upset the fan base or risk the wrath of the fan base, who as there may be people who push back on this, which is terrible, just because she's trans. Right. I hope that doesn't take her out of the running for this role or other roles. Yeah. I agree. I hope she's the choice, and we'll see in the end what they go with, because she looks just like Zelda. You see the art, and comparing her with her red carpet photos, it is 100% a fit, But as you said, you got to deal with the reality of the situation, and that is how many of these gamers will be upset about it. How many of these people with anti-woke YouTube channels will, just feast on this stuff and create all kinds of negative narratives around it. Who knows when you see it, when it comes out, unfortunately, that's the hard truth of this situation. Right. But there are rumors that they might be looking at her for a Marvel role. Do you think that there's a possibility? Somebody already mentioned there in the chat. Could she be Mystique in the new X-Men stuff? What do you think? That would be super cool. I've never heard that before. I like that.
Yeah, I kind of like that as well.
Again, it's going to happen. Like, I think that we need more trans actors in blockbusters. Yes. It's just about which one's going to, make the leap, if you will.
Right. Yeah. We'll see for
Not
sure.
that there's never been a transaction in a blockbuster, I don't think, but I'm not sure that there has been. But I know what you'd mean in terms of like these major geek properties.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Especially at a time when they're kind of subject to a lot of attacks all across the board. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that plays out. Well, Jeff, let's move on to the big story that we kind of teased in the title of this article in this show here for the hot mic, and that is what's going on. This little blurb that popped up on this Hollywood Reporter article that broke down the changing of the guard in a lot of sections of Hollywood in multiple companies like CAA, WME, Sony, and Lucasfilm. And they mentioned that in this excerpt from the article from the Hollywood Reporter that Lucasfilm seems likely to follow a path in replacing Kathleen Kennedy. Despite speculation about outside candidates like Emma Watts from 20th Century, the current thinking is it will be Chief Creative Officer Dave Filoni and production head Carrie Beck, both Lucasfilm vets taking co-head roles. Even as an arm of Disney, Lucasfilm remains in many ways a family business, and as a George Lucas protege, Filoni long has been considered a golden boy, but the knock against him is that he might be too steep in Star Wars lore. He's not the Andor guy, he's the Ahsoka guy, says one Disney insider. You don't want to hear that after the success of Andor. Beck, who joined the company in 2012, knows the ins and outs, but neither she nor Filoni has much film experience, which could be mitigated by Kathleen Kennedy's continued presence. So this is an interesting choice. You're looking at the situation that it'll be Kathleen Kennedy essentially as kind of a safety net going forward for these two as they get their feet underneath them, kind of like new deer being born, trying to walk on the live action side of things. And you might want to say, well, what about The Mandalorian? That's pretty much Favreau with Filoni working with him. Ahsoka was a Filoni, and that was a bit of a mess by the end. So what are your thoughts? Do you believe that it'll be Filoni and Beck? And what do you anticipate going forward with Hollywood, with Lucasfilm? Still having Kathleen Kennedy kind of there as kind of like an Amy Pascal type of thing, not officially with Lucasfilm, but protecting as an executive producer.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is exactly what I reported months ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is where the Hollywood Reporter is getting its info, or if Peter spoke to somebody on his own. But yes, this is where the safe money is. Could something else happen? Yeah. But as of now, I think that the plan is for it to be Dave and Carrie. As it has been for months. She's going to leave when she is ready to leave. I had last heard August, but now Hollywood Reporter is sort of saying that she'll leave as soon, shortly after Iger leaves. And Iger may not leave until, I don't know, the top next year. You never know. I mean, you never know with these people. Right. She's going to leave, when she wants to leave. She's not going to leave when I say she's leaving, or even when Bob Iger says she's leaving, right? No one's going to do Kathy dirty like that. But I think I don't think that she'll like the Mandalorian and Grogu opens next May.
Yes, next May. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see her as the head of Lucasfilm for that movie.
But she'll still be.
Yes, she's going to be intimately involved in this universe. She's still going to be producing all the movies because she developed them. I mean, these are all things that she greenlit. And so now it's like, okay, I want to help usher these into existence and fruition. So
is this going to be window dressing to have Carrie Beck and Filoni as the co-heads of Lucasfilm if Kathleen Kennedy is still essentially executive producing all the subsequent movies for the next probably 7 to 8 years, 7 to 10 years possibly? How do we know that Carrie Beck and Filoni can run Lucasfilm if she is executive producing all of these films, right? I mean, how we judge their live action resume if
they're ultimately going to be the boss, though. I don't understand. Like, yeah, she may still be calling the shots, but like, she's going to be producing other stuff. Does she go and produce a Steven Spielberg movie? She couldn't do that while she's running Lucasfilm.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, they're going to have a company to run. It's not just about making the movies or being on set. They can, you're supposed to entrust these movies to their producers.
Right.
Yeah. They have to oversee a whole bunch of stuff for Lucasfilm. That's not, those are all responsibilities Kathy doesn't want. She's done it. She's had enough. She wants to focus on making movies. Yeah. Not running a company.
Yeah, but you're judged by how you do live action with Star Wars. It isn't about, oh, great, you had a good board meeting. It ain't about that. It's about, can you get live action films that are good? And if Kathleen Kennedy is constantly executive producing these films, how much of that do you give credit to Filoni and Beck for landing the plane if these films are good? That's the thing that I think might get a little muddy here, and who gets credit for these films, you know?
I mean, who cares? You know, that's up to them, right? I mean, it's
Star Wars fandom fucking cares. Let me tell you this right now.
We need to know who assigned. No, you don't. Who cares who gets the credit? You just want a good movie. So who cares if Kathy greenlit it and Kathy produced it, but Carrie and Dave are the ones, you know, making the final alteration. I don't understand even what you're getting at. People just want a good movie. No one cares about who makes it. No one cares who's in it. Bullshit. Just make a good movie.
Oh my God, that's bullshit. Of course people care about who makes it. It's what drives a lot of entertainment journalism. Who is making what? Who is responsible
for what? But if it's all good, if I'm telling you, if the result is good, then who cares whose name is on the poster?
Because that's like saying, who cares who the quarterback is? I just want to win games. The quarterback's going to get the credit or the blame. That's how it works. Feige gets the credit or the blame for every
movies
no matter who's fucking directing.
Movies aren't like that, by
yes,
the way.
They fucking are. What are you talking about?
No, they're made by thousands of people.
Oh, God. Okay.
Come on.
Yes, I know the catering person is very important on a set. I've actually been on sets and worked on movie sets, so I
just don't know. What are you trying to say? If Star Wars 20 comes out and Kathy Kennedy's the producer and Dave and Carrie are running the studio, why is she the executive producer? Why can't she be the producer?
Will she be the executive producer? That's what I'm getting at. Is she going to be the one calling the shots as a de facto head of the live action?
She's going to be above executive producer. She's going to be a producer. I'm telling you this.
We'll say this again.
She's going to produce. She's not
right.
What do you mean? Just like the Kinberg trilogy, she'll be a producer on those movies.
Right. So you think she's not going to be the executive producer, not going to be the end all be all. She's just going to be a producer.
She's the executive producer is not the end all be all.
Okay.
The head of the studio is. What do you mean?
What? The head of a studio isn't going daily to see what's going on the set every day. It is either the director or the executive
set, or I don't understand. Like, there are phones. What are we talking about right now? What is this?
What are you being unaware of here? You know that a producer or a director is responsible for the end result of a film, no matter how many thousands of people or hundreds or tens of people work on a film. They're the ones who get the credit. No one's going, you know what? The costumer was amazing. That's why this film was great. It's like, no, this is all part of the direction.
Totally lost the plot. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
Who gets credit for a film being good? That's what I'm getting at. How do we judge Filoni and Beck if Kathleen Kennedy is the one calling all the shots on the live action films that are coming up for the next 7 to 10 years? That's what I'm getting at. How do we know that Filoni and Beck are doing a good job live action theatrical if it's Kathleen Kennedy being the EP on all of these films? I don't see how that's hard to figure out.
Why do you keep saying EP?
Because I think she will be the head person.
But what? That's not the head person. What are you talking about right now? A producer is above an executive producer. That's why they get the PGA credit.
Fine.
You're thinking of television.
She will be the main producer.
Television is for executive producers.
Fine. She will be the main producer. You want to argue semantics? That's fine. But I'm saying she will be the main person.
These are different jobs.
Fine. She will be the. You know what I was getting at, though. She will be the main person. If she is the main person,
so she's
calling all the shots from the film.
Again, so she's the main person. She produces Star Wars.
Hey Grubby, suck my dick. I will move on when I'm ready to fucking move on my show. Do you understand? You don't want like that? Get the fuck out of here. Okay.
I'm with her. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm saying, how do we judge?
Why do we need to judge?
Because
again, if Kathy Kennedy produces Star Wars 20, whatever the fuck it is, 5 years from now.
So you mean,
and it's the main person.
It's
great.
Yes.
Right. You're like, well, how much credit do Dave and Carrie deserve? That's your big question?
That's my question. Is it becomes muddy about who gets credit for actually steering the ship.
I don't know who gets the credit, John. I guess that's up to the fans. I mean, should the director get the credit? Should the producer get the credit? Should the writer get the credit? Should the actor get the credit? Should the studio head get the credit who signed off on the movie? I don't understand.
I don't think it's up to the fans. It's up to what actually happened. And that's what we get these reports on all the time. People comment all the time and issue statements about who was in charge of what when something is successful.
Who gets the credit for Andor?
Gilroy does.
Why doesn't Kathy Kennedy? She greenlit the movie.
You mean the series?
The series,
that's the difference, Jeff. Executive producer. That's a movie series. It's two different things.
Okay,
yes,
dude,
I'm just saying this. The situation. Yeah, Gilroy gets the credit. Kathleen Kennedy get the go ahead, but she's not the producer of or Gilroy is. So, or executive producer Gilroy is because we're doing TV. But if she's the Tony Gilroy for these movies, how do we judge Carrie Beck and Dave Filoni?
What are you talking about? Why would she? This is the dumbest fucking segment I think we've ever done, John. Why would Kathleen Kennedy ever be getting in the Tony Gilroy position? You're not even listening. You're not listening.
I don't need to personally insult you to have a conversation. I don't work that way.
I mean, so this is a bad segment.
That's fine because you're being obtuse.
This is a bad segment.
No, suck. Okay, all right, fine.
Everything's sucking dicks.
What do you want to fucking talk about? Go ahead. What do you want to talk about?
I just like.
No. What do you want to talk about? You know what to do. Go ahead. What do you want to talk about? I got the thumbnails. Go ahead. What do you want to move on to next?
Whatever you want.
No. Hell no. What do you want to move on to next? You got such an issue with this segment. Go ahead. Pick a winner.
What curled up your ass today, bro?
You saying that me having this legitimate conversation about
this is not a legitimate conversation.
When you look at Feige gets all the credit for Marvel, right?
Who else do you give the wait? Who gets the credit for Black Panther?
I think Feige and Ryan Coogler get credit for Black Panther.
Multiple people are sharing credit. Look at the comment section.
But that's what I'm getting at. How do you move? If Feige was to move to producer from head of Marvel, and Feige was doing,
he is the producer. He's both.
Yes, I know.
Oh my god,
it's really simple. It's not that hard. I don't know why you make it complicated. This isn't fucking physics. If Feige steps down from running Marvel Studios, but is still producing the next 10 years of Marvel films, he is the de facto head in charge of the theatrical side of things.
No, he's not. He's producing movies. He's not. Obviously, someone would replace Kevin, and that would be the de facto head of the movies.
Right. So that's my point. If it goes forward, that Kathleen Kennedy is producing these movies, but Carrie and Filoni are the heads of the studios, who will get credit for the success or failure of these live action movies?
I don't know. I don't have a crystal fucking ball, John. I don't know who's going to get the credit. Probably the writer-director, like it usually is.
All right, fine.
Just like when anyone makes a good movie, we're not like, oh, who's the studio head who greenlit it? Oh, who's the producer? You don't think of, what are you talking about right now?
All right, so Mask of Fear, you must be ignorant about this.
The director gets the credit.
Kathleen Kennedy is producing the Starfighter film with Sean Levy, is producing the James Mangold film, is producing the Ray film with Charmin Obey-Chenoy and Dizzy Ridley if it happens, and the Simon Kinberg trilogy. So that's 7 to 8 years. Mask of Fuckface. It's 7 to 8 years, for God's sakes. Jesus.
She's producing all these movies because she is leaving the studio.
Right, but is she the head of those movies? That's what I'm getting at.
No, she's not. The head of Lucasfilm would decide. They could pull the plug a week before production. Kathy Kennedy is all ready to go and all the ducks in a row, and the head of Lucasfilm can say, actually, we're not going to do that. Goodbye.
Okay.
That's it. So it's the studio head. That's the boss. That's why they're the studio head.
Right.
It all starts with the studio. They're paying for it.
Right. Fair.
This is basic movie making. You know that.
No, don't even with that. See, that's insulting to be like, that's basic movie making, you dumbass. That's not cool, man. I know how movies work. I wouldn't be in this business for fucking 15 years if I didn't know how
What do you think a studio head does? They think they take orders from producers?
No, but I'm saying there is but nobody goes, really, Bob Iger did a great job with Marvel movies. This is not how it works. You know that. Anyway. All right, let's move on. What do you want to move on to since you've got an issue with this segment? Go ahead.
I don't have the list in front of me. You can go to whatever you want because this is stupid.
There we go. This is stupid again. All right, fine. All right, what are your thoughts on this, Clayface? These 4 guys. You love it? Are you in for these guys? I don't even have their names in front of me. You like these guys? What's your feeling? 4 Brits.
No, they should just hire Daniel Radcliffe, like I said.
What?
I mean, Jesus Christ, what are we doing?
Are you saying that just because you want your story to be true? What are you thinking?
Half, yes, and half. Daniel Radcliffe is more famous and, quite frankly, maybe even a better actor than most of these guys.
Jack O'Connell? You think he's better than Jack O'Connell? Come on.
Jack O'Connell's a good actor. I've seen Jack O'Connell, ham it up as well. I think George McKay is probably the best actor on that list.
I agree with you there. Yeah, from 1917. Yes.
I mean, do either of these guys put butts in seats? No. Daniel Radcliffe would potentially. So I guess they're a little bit younger than him. That may be an attractive element for DC. And I mean, the list is fine. Who are the other two guys? It's George, Jack, and who are the other two?
Hold on, let me take a look because I didn't have it pulled up.
Is it Tom Blythe or Tom?
Hold on, give me a second. Here we go. It's George McKay, Tom Blythe from Hunger Games, Ballad Song, Grizzly Snakes, Jack O'Connell, Sinners, and Leo Woodall from One Day in the
Leo Woodall's like the hot young guy. I think that's maybe too big a leap. I think it's a little early for him.
Okay.
Tom Blythe, I didn't see Hunger Games, so I can't really judge him. I don't really know who the hell he is.
Okay.
I think if you're DC, you're probably going with George or Jack.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really, but they're both good. I don't think either one really matters as far as starring in Clayface.
This is a $40 million, essentially body horror film, and Flanagan came out and said he based his script on the 2-episode arc of Clayface in the Batman animated series, which is really tough to do without a Batman in your movie. So if you're trying to generate interest for this film, wouldn't it make sense to go with Jack O'Connell, who is the hot hand right now coming out of the success of Sinners? Wouldn't he be the logical choice to get people interested in a how can I say this? In a smaller villain in the Batman universe compared to like the Joker or the Penguin or the Riddler? Clayface isn't on that level. So wouldn't you go with Jack O'Connell to kind of, because he's talented and can do the job, no problem, but also because he's got name recognition? Wouldn't that make sense financially or business wise, or am I crazy?
Yeah, no, I do think that he is probably the best known of those actors, and he does have the not homegrown, but coming off a big Warner Brothers hit in Sinners. So yeah, I think he's probably the most likely choice if it's just boiled down to those four. There may be others in the mix who refuse to test. I don't know.
Yeah, fair points. Fair point. All right, I like these choices. They're all four good actors, but yeah, Jack O'Connell seems like this. I don't know, how old is Daniel? Isn't he in his 30s, or am I wrong on that?
Yes,
35, right?
Yeah.
And these other guys are in their 20s, are they not? So maybe they're
20s.
Yeah, they want some. Well, actually, Jack's 34, so maybe they want someone that they can go with who is going to be doing it for a while. Yeah, McKay's 33, so I guess this is the area, like you said, Daniel Radcliffe. That's kind of the mid-30s, early 30s range they're looking at for this. Interesting. All right. All right. Do you have any DC updates? Do you have anything for the Batman Part 2 or anything you've heard in the wind about any DC stuff coming up? The Superman stuff, we saw 2 hours and 9 minutes is now the runtime for Superman, Jeff. And James Gunn is apparently now going to be in a podcast where he's going to go through the first episode of Peacemaker leading up to Peacemaker coming out. Like, shouldn't he be just focused on running a studio? What are your thoughts on any of the Superman stuff that's come out this week? Anything stand out to you, or do you have any DC news that you could drop here?
I don't think I have any DC news, and yeah, okay. I mean, just want more, Gunn self promotion. Everybody wants to see me. It's really crazy how excited I was and how much I was rooting for Gunn, and how he's sort of become the villain of his own universe. I'll put it this way. This has nothing to do with anything, but I was talking to somebody this week about Superman, and just like about the lighting in that trailer and everything. They said it looked like a gay porn.
Oh, Jesus. Not that there's anything wrong with that during Pride Month, of course.
I'm watching a ton of gay porn every day.
Don't out yourself.
Teen Titans. Teen Titans is going to be casting, I imagine, soon.
Okay.
If not this summer, then maybe this fall.
Right.
I mean, shit. The only thing I've heard about Batman 2 is that I don't know if Gunn really wants to make it, but I think we've all sort of thought that for a long time, don't you think? Like,
yeah, the Gunn was going to take over for Reeves.
not even that. Just like I don't even think he wants to do this. I think it's just I'm doing a universe, right? You want me to fucking create a DC universe? This is my vision for the universe, and you know what doesn't fit into it? Fucking a dark Batman.
Well, that's someone said to me, like, I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was on Geek Buddies, maybe it was on this show. Like, how do you introduce Batman in a Clayface movie? And I thought that was so low rent to do it that way. But fuck, man, it's James Gunn making the decisions for this universe. Yes, with Peter Safran and of course David Zaslav as a studio head, as you said earlier. But like, I wouldn't put it past Gunn to slide his Brave and the Bold Batman into the end of Clayface somewhere, or have some scene or two with him, just like you did in Creature Commando. So
I guess it'll all depend on how desperate DC is after Superman opens.
After Superman, yeah. I
mean, and again, once again, THR backed up my claim about the 175 million, tracking. That was in today's interesting article about how expensive all these fucking movies have gotten. Like,
do you want to talk about that? I read that one.
Yeah, they weren't shy about it at all. They're just like, this movie's 360 million. This is 400 million. Like, they were exposing all the dirty laundry, and like, I don't think you ever want to see a 3 or a 4 in front of a budget number unless you're working on like a fucking Avatar movie. I mean, these budgets are insane, and I get that they're complicated by COVID and the writers' strike and a whole bunch of other things. But it's impossible to turn a profit with numbers like that, and that's what's going to happen with Mission Impossible. Like, this movie is maybe going to get to 400 million this week.
I don't think this thing breaks 500. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. It's like, okay, if we're talking about maybe 400, I don't know that we're ever going to see 500,
which is less than the last one did, and that's considered.
This could be hundreds. Like, this could be the biggest flop of all time.
Oof.
Think about what I just said. Is that like, wouldn't that be crazy simply because of the money? Like, how much money could John Carter of Mars have lost?
Right.
100 million, 120 million. This movie could lose like 200 to 300 million dollars.
Yeah. And I hear from a source of mine, I heard this week, speaking of Mission Impossible, that Tom Cruise was apparently so mad at how, I know this is an article and got written up already, but this is a source of mine sent this to me, that apparently Tom Cruise was so mad. I'm saying this from a source, so take it with a grain of salt, that he was so mad at how Paramount botched Dead Reckoning that no one at Paramount saw a treatment or a script ever, and they only saw the movie a month before it premiered at Cannes. What do you think, Jeff? Does that sound possible, that was the route? Did Tom Cruise have that much clout to tell the Paramount execs, look, I got this, stay the fuck back, I'm going to do this thing, and then you get to see it a month before it comes out? Does that sound right, considering some of the uneven quality of this one?
I mean, no, because they have to like think about, you're saying they just saw it a month before Cannes. Well, we've seen trailers for this movie for how long?
Right. Well, it doesn't mean that he gave them access to it, though, just because there was trailers.
Well, who made the trailer? I don't understand.
A trailer house. The studio may not have been involved in it at all.
I think that the studio marketing team is very much involved.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah, I don't think Tom Cruise is sitting there cutting the trailer himself. In fact, anyways, the budgets on these movies are just way too crazy.
Yeah, it's an article from Pamela McClintock, who is becoming another one of my favorite writers, along with Tatiana Siegel there, and THR, and breaking things down here she talked about James Gunn getting upset about the Superman budget being released at 363, I think it was, and Gunn said, that's how do they know, and how in the world do they think they know what our budget is? But of course, he was playing on the fact that there are tax incentives and tax breaks to technically lower the budget of the film to around 225. But one longtime financier, according to the article, says the 363 million figure isn't incorrect. And sources say DC and its parent could spend as much as $200 million on global marketing compared with the usual $150 million, which would put the budget of the film into the $400 million club. So when the $253 million budget was announced, people were speculating that it would have to make 700. Now, if it goes to 400, this thing has to break $1 billion in order to see a profit. So, Jeff, does what's in this article, if it's true, change our perception on what Superman needs to hit in order to be a success now, if it's actually 400 million total in terms of budget when you include the marketing.
I mean,
are we looking at billion just to break even or see a dollar profit?
No,
okay.
But I think Umberto was right with that 700 million figure. Like that's going to be the threshold as far as what success is judged on. You know, it's not necessarily about whether it makes its money back or whatever, because it's laying a foundation for an entire universe. So you know, even if you have to spend, lose 50 million or whatever to do that, and the movie's well received, then I think it's worth it. It's probably still money well spent, but I think if this movie fails to get to 700, there's a problem. I don't see it as $1 billion movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it all depends on opening weekend reactions, right? I mean, I think if it's a great movie that overcomes any kind of fabricated narrative that people want to throw on top of it, then I think $1 billion is absolutely in play, especially in summer. I think people want to go, especially now where the world is so fucking crazy. And we got these two drama queens fighting each other on Twitter right now. You want to go and escape into a movie where you feel like something positive could happen in the world and that someone with great power actually wants to protect the world. It could be someplace to go and like kind of remember that possibility. It could help, but it's ironic that in the article, the Jurassic World Rebirth film is the one that has the lowest budget at 180 million. I mean, whoever thought that would be a modest budget for a Jurassic World?
But that was the whole plan, right? It was like, we're going to scale down like these movies because, the Jurassic World movies were a series of diminishing returns.
Right.
They're like, we can't keep spending what we've been spending on these movies. I think if they, shaved a pretty significant portion of the budget to make this one, it's a smaller scale. And so, the threshold's going to be lower for success. And again, I know people are in the comments talking about Superman, but like there's never been a Superman movie sandwiched between Jurassic World and Fantastic Four.
Right.
You're leaving yourself a fairly narrow window in which to make most of your money. I think word of mouth is, certainly going to matter when it comes to that.
Yeah. Agreed. All right. Anything more on this? Anything more to go over on this one?
Nope.
Okay. We should take a moment. I think, Jeff, this is fair to take a moment here I know we're in Pride Month, but we lost this wonderful actor who was murdered in San Antonio, Texas. I wanted to bring it up on the show. Jonathan Joss, who, of course, had played fantastic characters on Parks and Recreation and on King of the Hill. There are allegations of this being a gay hate crime. The police are still investigating all of that. His husband certainly came out with a very damning recount of what happened. But as I said, the police are investigating. But it's still a shame to lose such a wonderful actor. And I don't know did you ever see him in Parks and Recreation? Did you ever see him on King of the Hill? What are your thoughts on the sad murder?
I mean, I thought that story was just horrific.
Yeah.
Like the cops have been out to his home like 4 dozen times because of harassment and stuff like that. I mean, I want to say more power to them for like not moving, right? And not refusing to give in, but it's like, holy shit. Like when it ends like this, you kind of just wish like, well, geez, why couldn't you guys have just moved? But that's obviously, they shouldn't have to. I think it's a pretty clear example of a hate crime. I know there's a lot of debate about that and whether the guy will be charged under it. It's weird. Like, I feel like people are gonna like cheer if it's labeled a hate crime. Like we're rooting for it. I'm rooting for that hate crime charge. It's a weird thing. I read Mike Schneider's piece as well about Jonathan like a couple days before, like crashing that King of the Hill panel.
Right.
I just, I don't know what words were exchanged at that mailbox where he died. I don't know if he was just feeling, maybe because of the death of his friend and co-star, feeling a certain way and was like, do something about it. And just like the guy fucking called his bluff or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's a terrible situation, and horrible that it happened during Pride Month. R.I.P.
Yeah. For people who don't know, his husband, Jonathan Joss's husband, accused this man who shot him and killed him, accused members of the community of burning down their house earlier this year, and then of killing their 2 dogs. And the husband stated that when they went to check their mail at their old residence that had burned down, someone had left the skull of their dog and other remains there in front of the mailbox on purpose to get a reaction. And while both of the men, Jonathan Joss and his husband, were crying and wailing about it, because why wouldn't you, if you cherished pet that you've lost and been murdered? This gentleman apparently walked up, they exchanged words, and this was a long-running beef between these guys as neighbors. And he shot him to death. And apparently he jumped, according to his husband, Jonathan Joss jumped in front of his husband to protect him from the bullets and was killed in that way. So for those of you who don't know, those are the details of that. And to happen in Pride Month is just horrific, as you said, Jeff. So it's such a shame that this kind of anger still exists and this kind of hatred towards people who are God's creatures and are just trying to live their lives without your bullshit fucking them up. It's a shame to live in a world like this.
The world is completely fucked right now.
Yeah.
Because go on.
Yeah. I know it's a terrible thing. All right, let's move on to what else did I have on our list, man? I'm sorry, I was all discombobulated from our battle earlier, so I don't have the thing up just yet. Is there anything you want to jump into just now? Or okay, we got trailers. You want to talk about some of these trailers?
Sure.
These trailers. All right. So, what are your thoughts on the Frankenstein trailer here, Jeff? We got some of that. We got Black Phone 2.0. What are your thoughts on these horror trailers that came out this week? And a little bit of the Stranger Things, 30 seconds of that trailer as well. What'd you think of that? And let's just start there. What did you think of those trailers?
I mean, the best trailer I saw all week was Lurker.
I didn't see this one. Which one's this one?
It's a tiny little indie with Archie Madekwe, the kid from Gran Turismo, and
nice.
And Theodore Pellerin. He's a great little actor. He's someone who should be on the fucking Clayface list. But anyways, Black Phone trailer. I mean, we saw the first Black Phone together.
Yeah,
I think
we did. Yeah,
I wasn't a fan. So this trailer, I actually thought it didn't look great to me. I mean, I don't understand the rules of the universe and everything. I just don't. Scott Derrickson's a little hit and miss in my book, and it's hard pressed. I'm hard pressed to also say anything nice about Blumhouse right now. So I can't say I'm too stoked for this one.
We're gonna get to that story here in just a second, but yeah. What about Frankenstein? Did you like
TUDUM stuff? Listen, I think TUDUM, worked well this year.
Yeah.
It sounded like they couldn't sell out the Forum, which I'm a little surprised by. But you also have to advertise who's going to be there. So if Lady Gaga's here, it's a big surprise. Well, okay, that's why you didn't sell out. But yeah, she was there for Wednesday and sang a couple songs. Frankenstein looked. I thought it looked good, but I spoke to someone who's seen it, and I included their reaction in the newsletter. Right. And it sounds like exactly what we expect. I think it'll be good, but I don't think it'll be great. It sounds like he didn't necessarily stray too far from the original story.
Put his own spin on it, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think people would have liked, this person who saw it would have liked to have it even more Guillermo-fied, if you will.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
The Stranger Things thing I thought was the best thing. That was really cool to see the release dates, Volume 1 Thanksgiving, Volume 2 fucking Christmas, and finale on New Year's. I really like that strategy.
Yeah.
That's when people are watching stuff.
They're going to own the fall, Jeff. They're going to own the fall.
For sure. Exactly. They stretch it out over a whole fucking month. Can't really blame Netflix for that. Squid Game comes out in a few weeks. That trailer I thought looked pretty good, like the final season. What else was there?
Happy Gilmore 2. Any thoughts on that?
Happy Gilmore 2 looked awesome.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It did.
I mean, it probably won't be very good, but it feels like it's worth Netflix putting up with all these shitty Adam Sandler movies that they made over the last decade to get their hands on this one. And I just love the final moment with Shooter and the pieces of shit for breakfast reference. I thought it was perfect.
Fighting in a cemetery, no less. I mean, it's just perfect.
What do you think of Knives Out 3, though?
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting trailer. I mean, using the calligraphy at the end there for the credits was like old school 1930s, 40s horror, which is noir, which is a really fun decision, but I like the energy, and it seemed darker, man. This didn't seem like the first two movies, which it had some darkish elements to it, but it was much more kind of lighthearted for comedy. This feels a little bit darker than they've ever gone with the series. Dare I say, even elements of a little bit of a horror aspect to it. So, yeah, what do you think? This feels like a 1970s type of whodunit, which has that kind of element of horror underneath the surface. That's what it felt like to me. What about you?
Yeah, it's like Josh O'Connor. There's a lot of religion. There's a lot of faith in there. A lot of talk of miracles and Glenn Close praying and sermons. Like Josh O'Connor's playing a reverend here,
right?
Or is he? Right? Is he just
yeah.
someone who's pretending to be a reverend and just threw on the costume? So,
right.
I definitely got a little like Sinners influence from this. Like, are they trying to pick up on that vibe?
Oh, interesting. I didn't even catch that.
Okay. Yeah, just like with a little bit with the southernness of it all. I haven't really been a fan of the Knives Out movies, but this is a fun cast, and I'm certainly down to give this one a chance. Hopefully the third time's the charm.
Yeah, and I like the long hair on him. Like, it radiates this kind of like,
yes.
Where is he at right now? Is he kind of in this self-destructive place? Because when we saw him in the second one, he was kind of dealing with stuff and climbing out of it. Now, has he slid back in by the time we get to the third one? I think it's an interesting situation. Plus, it's called Wake Up Dead Man. So is it a symbolic title in that he is the dead man kind of walking? And is he needing to wake up through the case and get back to being who he was? So yeah,
I agree. I couldn't have put it better myself.
No, thank you. What did you think of this one, though? Did you see this one this week? Did you see this one today?
I haven't watched that one today.
Oh, yeah. All right.
I've had a busy day.
All right. Anything you want to tell us about? Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I don't think I'll tell you where I was this morning.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey.
Yes. Yes, I did. Yeah. I like that one. It was a good trailer.
It looked okay. It looked very much like a chick flick. I mean, I'd heard good things about this, and then I saw the trailer at CinemaCon, and I was like, So I'm curious to see if this idea will work, or if it'll sort of. It feels like an art house movie with a giant studio budget.
Right. Yes, that I would agree with. It has that element to it. So you wonder if it's going to make money in the end for itself. Let's stay in the world of horror. Let's get to the Blumhouse situation here. Let's talk about it. Blumhouse, it looks like they've purchased the Saw franchise here, Jeff, and you seem a bit upset about this. I'm not sure why. Maybe you want to let us know, but Anthony D'Alessandro and Mike Fleming Jr. claim this exclusive. Maybe that's where you're a little upset. In a deal that will bring James Wan back in touch with the mega horror IP created, we hear from several sources that Blumhouse is acquiring the prospective rights to Twisted Pictures portion of the Saw franchise. They essentially are taking over the IP's ownership from Mark Berg and Oren Coles at Twisted. LIONSGATE will continue to be involved as a partner and, in fact, owns 50% of the franchise. So, your thoughts? You said Blumhouse. You wanted to talk about it.
No, I sure did. Listen, I don't give a fuck who you are.
Wow.
You think you're going to fucking play me like that? You're fucking out of your mind.
Wow.
I mean, I woke up to a text this morning from a fellow reporter.
Yes.
It was very condescending.
Whoa.
They gave me some advice.
Oh, no.
And you know what? I've been doing this long enough. I don't need your fucking advice.
Wow.
Wow. Blum, if Deadline has been holding the story for so long, don't even have a conversation with me. If that's always what the plan was, right?
Yeah.
I had a whole conversation with them yesterday. I laid my cards out on the table, perhaps too transparently.
Okay.
And they just picked up the phone and called Mike, and they just tell him what I'm going to do. And it's like, here we are. We're talking off the record, right? We're talking candidly. So I'm not going to share what you say, but you get to share what I say.
Yeah.
It's a totally fucked up, and it's trash. And he's called twice today, Jason.
Wow.
I'm going to need some time to cool down. I think it was big of him to call. But I'm not big enough to answer yet.
Wow.
I need to
wait
cool down before I talk to him.
Are you saying Jason Blumhouse has called you twice today and you have not picked up the phone?
Yes, that's correct.
Wow.
I used to work for Jason. I've known Jason 20 years.
Yeah.
I'm not some fucking asshole calling off the street.
Right.
I've worked with them on a bunch of stories. And I got to tell you, every story that I've done on Blumhouse the last 20 years didn't come from Jason.
Right.
Didn't come from Blumhouse.
Right.
So I don't need you guys. I don't need you to break the news about you at all. And so like if you haven't helped me at all,
yeah,
other than confirming things that I already know,
yeah,
why would I deal with you? It's a catch-22, John. If I just post, because it came from like a great source, like the same source who gave me Downey as Doom, actually.
Oh wow, right, which you knew in May before they announced it in July.
The source is money. You told me about the Saw deal. They asked, they were like, sit tight and I'll get you some details. And I could have sat tight, waited for those details,
right,
and just posted. But instead, I wanted to loop Blumhouse in, and if that's what you're going to do with the loop in, then you're not going to get looped in again. And if I'm not looping you in and you're not looping me in, why do we have each other's numbers?
Right.
Okay. Now I'll talk to Jason, and I'm sure he's going to apologize, but also explain that Deadline's been on it for a long time, and that's great. Whoop-de-doo for Deadline.
Right.
But once I call, it's mine. It's as simple as that. So, like, these are the new rules of engagement, and this goes for everybody, the entire town. I want to eat what I kill. Okay. The trades have a zillion fucking stories.
Yes.
I don't. Okay. Right. So I'd like to pretend that I do, but I don't. Right. And so every story is a money-making opportunity. I'm fighting for my life. I'm here in a one-bedroom apartment in Koreatown. Okay, where you can't even walk outside at night. So the idea that I'm just going to roll over for fucking Deadline because they called about it. Oh, Deadline called us last year. Okay, well, the deal has fallen apart how many times in this past year? I mean, Holiday Porter even said it. Like, they were negotiating late last year, then it fell apart early this year. Does the Deadline call carry over? This is a new round of negotiations, and like I called on it in March.
Right.
This wasn't my first time calling. I texted them in March. So it's just like, and if that is what you're going to do, then you call and you say, Jeff, in 2 minutes, the story's going to be on Deadline, but we've got something else for you, right. and Jason's going to take care of you. Instead, they just lie. They just lie and they pretend like no one else is on it and you're the first person to call. And then, we don't know how it got on Deadline. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's just disingenuous. Yes. And these people are bad actors. And I'm literally the last person you can fuck over in this town. Forget Spielberg, forget Nolan. Again, I've said this before, and that tweet went viral, and people will call me a narcissist and they'll call me arrogant. If you get a call from Steven Spielberg and you're on the shitter and you can't take the call, he will wait. He'll call back. Like, you can call him back. Right. You can't call me back. Okay. So if I've written you off, good luck. Good luck to you. Yeah, it was just astounding, the way that these people think that they can treat me. And so I had to make him an example. Unfortunately, it was my old boss, Jason Blum. Wow. He got the bull and he got the horns. And let it be a lesson to every single person who thinks that that's how it's going to go down, that they're just going to have a conversation with me. Like, just say no comment. Just say, you know what, Jeff, we can't help you on this one. But don't have a conversation with me and then pick up the phone and relay that conversation to my competitors who make 5 times as much as me and live in a big, fat fucking house in Long Island. Yeah.
That's a fair point. You look at the situation, and the thing is, when you're on the lower end of things as you are right now, and you have worked at trades before, every story is gold, right? Because the trades are getting handed stories.
It doesn't affect their paycheck.
Right. It doesn't affect their paycheck. Right. Some of them
is getting the same paycheck. Yes. So the way I look at it is that they're taking money off my table.
Yes.
Just like they took money off my table, laying me off in my 20s.
Right.
Just like they took money off my table, saying we're going to hire you and then putting it to a vote. I mean, literally everyone I've told that story to, they've never heard anything like it before. Right. It's completely insane that I could wine and dine the editor-in-chief of a site or, break bread, make amends, open up to him personally.
Yeah.
And then he puts it to a staff vote. What do you think the staff's going to say?
Right.
It's, dude, fuck Deadline. Fuck Penske.
Oof.
Fuck Jason Blum.
Wow. Whoa. 20 years you've been with this guy. Do you really want to say that on the show? I would like to pull you back a little bit on the Jason Blum situation. Maybe.
Well, I mean, listen, I do want to hear Jason. I do want to hear Jason out. I do want to, have a heart-to-heart with him because I don't think that he appreciates. This is a man who is worth. What do you think he's worth? $100 million? At
least, sure.
This is a man who has everything,
right?
And I'm fighting for the littlest, tiniest little fucking place in this.
You could argue this is a man who is in his respective field worked really hard to achieve what he has achieved. Mm-hmm. You, in a different way in your own chosen field, have worked really hard and dealt with, obstacles, some self-imposed, some not self-imposed, in order to still be in this business. So arguably, he should respect you as a fellow.
And I've always respected Jason and his business acumen. I mean, that's the tough part about picking a fight with the guy is like the movies that he makes are successful.
For the most part, yes.
They're not always very good, and I can certainly take shots at the quality, which I did last night. I mean, the fucking Halloween sequels, that Exorcist movie, like, what the fuck are these? Like, what the fuck are these movies?
Money, cash grabs, I imagine.
But yeah, exactly. Like, he makes movies for $5, $10, $15 million, and they all make $100, $200 million. So, I can't argue with the fucking formula. All I can say is take shots when they're deserved. And, I included a compliment last night about Drop. I like Drop. I'm not going to sit here and change my opinion because I'm mad at Blumhouse. Drop was an interesting original movie. And I like when Blumhouse does more originals. That said, I think like I'm of two minds with the Saw news, right?
Right.
And I'm also a huge Saw fan. I'm a guy who's been there every opening night 10 times. Do you think Mike Fleming was there opening night 10 times? Do you think Anthony D'Alessandro was there 10 times? Did either of those guys spend a summer reading shitty scripts in your Paramount office? No. Okay. So to just be fucked over like that, it wasn't cool. As far as the Saw franchise goes, this guarantees, this is obviously going to be a priority for Blumhouse. And for, it's not just Blumhouse, it's Blumhouse Atomic Monster, right? They merged with James Wan, and this is James Wan's baby. That's why, they were willing to really spare any expense to get it. I think that the Twisted guys wanted $100 million, and I think that the deal came in around 90 something.
Right.
It guarantees that there will be more movies, which I think was up in the air for a while because Twisted could just sit on it if they wanted. But do you think that the Saw movies are going to be better produced by Blumhouse?
I think the Blumhouse name carries a certain level of credibility and expectation and excitement in the horror community. So I think the opening weekends will do well relative to the budget. But if it's not a good movie, the subsequent weekends, as we saw with the Halloween films and with the Exorcist film, won't be successful financially for them in the long run. So, yes, it may feel like exciting to have Blumhouse rebooting or reimagining the Saw films or requeling, as the new term has been in the last few years. But it all will depend on who they get to be in charge of these films. Because as you saw with The Exorcist, that didn't really work out that strongly. And now Mike Flanagan's sequel is apparently out in the ether now and delayed indefinitely.
Who wants to see this? I mean, fucking Mike Flanagan. Don't even get me started on this guy. We can talk about him shortly. But
okay,
as a Saw fan, this is all that I should really be caring about, right? Are these movies going to be better or worse under Blum? And I fear, and this doesn't have anything to do with our fight last night, I fear that they will be worse because they will be safer. They will be more of like more commercial, more mainstream. Let's try to open to 40 million instead of serving that sort of niche Saw audience like myself.
Right.
And so again, this has nothing to do with what happened. It's just me as a fan talking. I'm nervous, but I'm glad that we're going to be getting more, and it is ready for a new chapter. Like, we've gotten 10 movies with Tobin Bell, or close to it.
Right.
Like, let's do something new with it.
Well, this is always the danger, isn't it, Jeff? The danger is when you're the hungry, lean and hungry, like we saw in Rocky 3, when you are the lean, hungry challenger, then you're capable of more of this like outside the box, dangerous thinking that ends up building your name, and people like what you do if you're successful at that thinking. But eventually you become the champion, and you become the champion for a while. And once you become the comfortable champion, you're not as strong, and you're not as thinking outside the box. You're not as lean and wiry, as hungry. So you go the safe route. As Mickey said, you fight tomato cans or easy guys that you can defeat to keep the belt. So that's the question. Is Blumhouse going the safe route by acquiring all of these already well-known franchises and IPs, but delivering safe installments of those IPs and franchises in order to keep the money coming in, but not necessarily going for the home run, just going for the double or the single and occasionally the triple?
Yeah. Again, we'll see what Blumhouse does. I mean, Juan, like I said, is part of Blumhouse basically, and he created the first movie, which is the best one.
Right.
So, if it means that he's going to be more involved, because he's probably had a credit on these movies, but just like probably an EP credit, John, where he's just there in name only.
Right.
I don't think he really had much to do with most of these sequels or anything.
Right.
So, it could be good to have him involved. Maybe Lee Winnell comes back to direct a movie, right? Because
after Wolfman, I mean, he wants to go somewhere. I feel like,
I mean, Blumhouse has good relationships in the horror community, so maybe they will elevate, who we get to direct one of these movies. Right. But that's not, it's not really why we're watching. We're watching for the traps. I mean, if I was Blumhouse, I'd be fucking up Stein and Lipovsky's ass after Final Destination. Those are the guys I'd love to see a Saw movie from.
Oh, that's a great point. Yeah, that's about to hit 400. Was it 400 million or something on Bloodlines, which is insane. God, I hope they have a back end deal or something with a movie that made that much money, for God's sake. So,
again, and I think I'll just be honest. Like, I think that there's always been a level of resentment with Blum because
230 million. Yeah, go
because
ahead,
to his credit, he's the only major producer who hired one of us, and that's Ryan Turek, right?
Right.
And I think that part of me, maybe feels like, well, if I hadn't gone into entertainment journalism, that could have been me, or I could have been Cooper Samuelson, or, somebody like that. When I say, fuck you, Jason, it's obviously out of anger. Right. And I know I'm doing it publicly, but to me, it's justified, because what do you think he said last night when the publicist said, I just got a call from Jeff Sneider and he's going to run the Saw News? What do you think he said? He said, fuck Jeff Sneider is what he said. Whether he said it in a different way, or, it's just that was ultimately the message that was communicated.
Right.
So I don't feel that bad saying it in turn. Although, again, like I said, I will call Jason back once I have cooled down.
Right. All right. Fair point, Jeff. Okay. All right.
So there
we got two more stories I think we should hit before we hit the question. So start sending, if you haven't sent in your Streamlab or Super Chat yet, do it now, because we're about to get into them. One thing I do want to cover, Jeff, we've been covering this lady's career ever since she won the Oscar and talking about the different projects. It seems like this is actually going to happen. She is going to replace Sydney Sweeney to be in A24's The Masque of the Red Death, the new version of the Edgar Allan Poe story. And she will be doing this, according to THR, doing this. So what do you think of this decision? And for those who don't know, Masque of Red Death focuses on twin sisters who are separated by class in a decaying aristocracy. It's set against the backdrop of a plague in a hedonistic prince's castle. It is said to include everything from revenge-fueled drama to opium soaked orgies. And this is coming to us from Charlie Pollinger. So interesting to see this choice and this decision. Do you like this? Because she turned down the Star Wars Starfighter thing over money, and there were a couple of things she was attached to, but now this seems to be the way it's going because Sydney Sweeney reportedly is going to focus on the Gundam film.
Yeah, I like it for her. I'm, nervous on a couple of fronts. Like I think A24 horror is a smart way to go.
Yes.
I don't really know Charlie Pollinger. So, on a director level, I can't be like, oh, this was a good decision to work with this guy or not. Right. I like the material and going like classic, old school Poe. Like I could see him having maybe a bit of a renaissance. Yeah. I'm just nervous with the twins thing because twins can work out really well, like it did for Sinners, or you get Mickey 17. Right? And so not that they're twins, they're clones, right?
Yeah,
but, same fucking thing, a dual performance,
right?
So I have to say I think this is the right decision rather than jumping into just a major franchise.
Right.
I never really thought Reptilia was going to be her follow-up to Nora. Like that's a movie that is like feels lucky to ever get made, quite frankly. Right. Yeah, but yeah, okay. She wanted too much money for Star Wars. I heard she asked for $6 million. And she's done, like not that she hasn't been in Scream and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but like she's only really top line one movie. And yes, it won Best Picture and she won Best Actress. Right. And I know you're looking for a payday after that Oscar win, but yeah, that's what happened there.
I can't imagine A24 is the payday. So do you think? We should get $6 million to be in this?
She may not be getting $6 million from A24, but I could see her getting like $3 million.
Okay. And maybe points on the back end if it does well, since she's
exactly, something like that. Yeah. But this isn't the payday move, right? This is the This is the art move. This is the feedback that she's probably getting, when she's looking for that payday. Is like, you need a little bit more, like as a lead, and then we can justify the payday. Yeah, and build the I don't know, the public perception of you as this really versatile, strong actress, because most people just saw Nora, right, and saw her from that. I don't think a lot of people were seeing better things or something like that, right? It was Nora did well, but it wasn't like $100 million movie.
Right, exactly. Yeah, all right. So we'll see with that situation what happens. All right, final thing we should talk about, Jeff. Did you get a chance to go to any screenings for this? Have you seen this yet? Any reviews, any feelings, or have you not seen it yet? Ballerina.
I see it in 4 hours.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then I'll give you my quick review, and what I'll say.
Give it to me, Johnny.
Non-spoiler. The film gets better as it goes along. It's a bit of a clunky beginning, but then as she really settles into the role, Ana de Armas, the fight choreography, the story that's being told, Gabriel Byrne, who is fantastic in the movie, Angelica Houston, and a number of other people who are coming back from the John Wick universe, and new entries in the John Wick, new actors in the John Wick universe, do a really good job, and it ends in a pretty amazing final set piece. And there's one sequence with grenades that are just going to blow you away, figuratively and literally, when you watch.
Is that a pun?
Yeah, and it's the right amount of John Wick. It's the right amount of Keanu Reeves in the movie as well, which I think they use really well. So I don't think it's on par with the best of the John Wick movies, but I do think it's way better than I thought it was going to be. And after you get past that opening 10, 15, 20 minutes, it really hits its stride and you are caught up in what is going on. There's I don't buy, like, the revenge thing isn't as strong as it's developed in John Wick, which is one of the negatives of the movie, but Ana de Armas is so good in the role that you just kind of enjoy what she's doing. But I think she needs better fare down the road. And this is fine for a paycheck, but God damn it, man. Ana de Armas is a damn good actress. She's got to pick better movies than Ghosted or other things that are happening in her career, or Blonde, which was not that good. So
I'm glad to hear, is encouraging to see the response to this movie, because I think Lionsgate needed a win, and we could all use more of Ana de Armas, right? And if this movie flopped, like, that would be a pretty big strike against her. 30 million maybe isn't the greatest, but like I said, the reviews have been encouraging. Yeah, I know I have an executive friend who made a bunch of bets against this movie's Rotten Tomatoes score, thinking it would come in like in the 50s, and he lost. Right, he did. It's at 87 or 74% right now with 122 reviews. I warned him. He was like, bro, like, should I put more money on this? Like, what have you heard anything from the press screenings and stuff? And I was like, listen, everyone in my profession is a whore. So if I were you, I'd take the over. He didn't want to listen. I'm strangely looking forward to it. But again, Chad Stahelski basically came in and reshot most of the fucking movie. And by the way, you can tell where the Stahelski scenes are. Yeah. And you can tell where the Len Weissman scenes are. I'm sure you can. Yeah. Yeah. I read the big Stahelski piece today in the Hollywood Reporter. I thought I didn't love the shots he took at the Continental. I thought he was a little disrespectful. I like the Continental. And the Continental may not have had some of the action of these later, like the John Wick 4, which had good set pieces, but like John Wick 4 was bad. Right. I don't care what anybody fucking says. I took my brothers to see that one. I think it was that one. And they looked at me like, we're never going to a fucking movie with you again. So I enjoyed the Continental on Peacock. It didn't perform. Like, Chad keeps going, I made 4 movies that made $1 billion. And, no one watched the Continental, which may be true, but that's not because it was bad. It was because it was on fucking Peacock. Right. And most people don't own Peacock, nor would they pay when none of the top line stars are going to be the lead of your Continental film or series, rather. So yeah, of course it didn't do that well. You have to have a good meter. So I know that if the Continental was on Netflix, that'd be like a phenomenon, and Chad would be wishing he could take credit for it. That's true. That's a fair point. One last thing, Jeff, before we get to the questions. Aaron Rodgers is officially the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Are we looking at an 0-17 season, or what are your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers? Yeah, you can have him. Good luck, Pittsburgh. That's one more AFC team I don't really have to worry about. Yeah, he's no longer a threat, and he's annoying as fuck. Between him and Mason Rudolph, that team isn't going to win more than 4 games, I don't think. It's going to be sad for Mike Tomlin having to negotiate these two morons in charge of his team. All right, let's get into the questions here. And the NBA Finals start in about 15 minutes. Jeff, real quick, who you got? Do you think Thunder or Pacers? Who you got? Pacers in 7. Wow. That's a bold prediction. A lot of people think Thunder in a sweep or Thunder in 5 or 6. So Pacers in 7. I respect it. I got the Thunder in 6, but maybe you're right. Pacers in 7 I hope it goes 7, because a lot of people are shitting on this series, including that dope who works at the Colin Cowherd show. And he was like, I need stars or I don't want to watch. Fuck you. This is basketball, bud. And these are 2 stars, SGA, who is the MVP of the league, and Tyrese Halliburton, who's been incredible in the playoffs. So it's nonsense. I think it's going to be a battle. I think it's going to be a better matchup than most people are thinking. I agree. I think there's going to be some tight games throughout. All right, let's get to the questions here. It's That Shadow. Hi, John and Jeff. Hope your day is going well. John, did you see the trailer for the James Bond video game? I did. Patrick Gibson, a.k.a. the young Dexter, is playing James Bond. Also, Department Q with Matthew Good is great. Yeah, Jeff, we are 8 episodes in. We're going to finish the finale tonight after this show for Department Q on Netflix. So good. A Matthew Good that I've never seen. It's amazing. Amazing stuff. I think he's great in it as well. And I love Akram. Yes, the actor who's playing the Syrian character, Akram. Yes, is so good. I brought him up yesterday to a buddy and said that he should sign him because I don't think he has any U.S. representation. Oh, he's a Swedish actor. So I think he is represented, I think, by this, I think it's Jenny Planthaber, but Swedish reps. And I think he could stand to have a U.S. manager. So, I'm sure there are a number of roles he could fit for. Yeah, but the whole cast is good. It's got a little bit of the Slow Horses vibe to it, but in a different way. And I like that about the show. And yes, I enjoyed the James Bond trailer. I didn't do a reaction to it because I just was stacked with stuff yesterday, but I would have normally reacted to it because it looks pretty awesome. So did you get I didn't see the James Bond trailer. To me, there's only one Bond video game, and I don't even need to say what it is. GoldenEye, is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Max Law says, hey, Jeff, what's up with the Lily James film about the Bumble CEO? It's in post and will likely be a Hulu film. Please ask around for updates. Thanks.
Yeah, this is the movie about Whitney Wolfe Herd. I think the original title, it was going to be Swiped. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a straight to Hulu movie. I mean, I think that's sort of the audience that, Searchlight is serving. I'm surprised like that The Roses is getting a theatrical release, although that's like August 29th. That's like the worst release, date of the year, maybe.
Right.
But yeah, that's Searchlight's function now, is to make a lot more movies for Hulu. They're not exclusively Hulu, but this one seems destined for streaming. I agree, Max.
Right on. Max also says TIFF has its 50th anniversary in 2025. I'm hearing they want bigger premieres and celeb sightings. Will The Rock debut Smashing Machine there? Also hope Roofman plays there. And any more predictions?
I do think that Smashing Machine will be there. I don't know if it'll debut. I think it probably feels like it could be a Telluride movie, to be honest.
Oh, yeah, I could see that.
I wouldn't be surprised if Roofman was too. I could also see... I could probably see Roofman going to Venice, actually. But I don't like to play that game. Like, who gives a shit? Yeah, I think that both movies will be a TIFF. I do believe that.
Okay. Lemmy Ward, thank you, Lemmy, for that donation. Super excited to hear that you might be doing 2 shows. Jeff and I are going to negotiate that here in a little bit. In this current world, we need you guys more than ever. Before you give me a shit, John, $159 Aussie is equivalent to 100 US. LOL. Well, thank you, Lemmy.
Thank you very much, Lemmy. That's very generous of you, man.
Yeah. Hey, if you keep donating, we'll do a 3rd show, for God's sakes. Here we go. All right.
That's for you on OnlyFans, buddy.
Right. Robert Giacinto, I'm with you, Jeff, on Life of Chuck. The influencer rave reviews are getting on my nerves, especially when it says paid partnership at the bottom. Yeah, we just got a final trailer for Life of Chuck. Comes out this weekend. What do you think of this comment here?
Final trailer did nothing for me either. It's just like throwing quotes at you. That's the whole campaign is just quotes and dancing. There's no inkling of what this movie is actually about. It's because the movie is a mess. I'm just so shocked that this movie beat a Nora for the audience award at TIFF. That seems impossible to me. It seems insane. This is a divisive movie. I mean, I sent my buddy to see it this weekend, and he came away stunned at its ineptitude. Have you seen it yet?
No, I have not seen it. I'm seeing it this weekend along with what else? Something else comes out this weekend I'm going to go see as well. But yeah, I'm going to see this weekend.
Dangerous Animals comes out this weekend. That's good, dude. Thumbs up on Dangerous Animals. I love Jai Courtney in that. And Hassie Harrison. But yeah, Life of Chuck, man, I wanted to love this movie. Like, this is the kind of movie that makes me cry. I watched Stand By Me this week.
Oh yeah, good movie.
So good. The idea, like, again, love Goldberg. He's the man. He's my Toronto buddy. But I cannot believe that these words came out of his mouth. The best King movie ever. This is like, you should be institutionalized for this.
Yeah.
After watching Stand By Me, come on. The Life of Chuck. What? Yeah, dude, Mike Flanagan, he is hit and very miss in my book, and I'm a little nervous about his Carrie series now, and I can give a shit about his Exorcist movie. Right
on. Hey, I'm gonna toss this one up for you, Jeff. I gotta leave for about 30 seconds to use the restroom. Please read this one and go ahead and give your thoughts on it.
Guys, Rogan's got to take a dump. Robert, thoughts on the Butterfly Effect? Just rewatched it and thought it still held up. I think after Final Destination, New Line should look into a revival. I wasn't a Butterfly Effect guy, really. It was okay. It was a little trashy. I mean, Ashton Kutcher, I don't think helped matters. I think we're kind of scraping the barrel if we need to reboot the Butterfly Effect. Like, meanwhile, Roke is so cruel. He left me with a Butterfly Effect question. How am I supposed to go off on this one? Someone else say something in the comments and I'll respond to it. Butterfly Effect. Yeah, this didn't do it. Thoughts on new? Yeah, I didn't watch the new 007 video game trailer, Sam O, but I think John just weighed in on it. John's taking a dump, guys. What can we talk about? I saw The Ugly Stepsister this week. highly recommended. The Ugly Stepsister kind of blew me away. It's like a Norwegian movie. It's a riff on Cinderella, told from the evil stepsister's point of view. And there's some crazy body horror in that one. So if you liked like The Substance, check out The Ugly Stepsister.
There you go. Yeah, sorry. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it. And by the way, I like Butterfly Effect, the rare Ashton Kutcher film that I enjoy. And him and Amy Smart are damn good in that. And Ethan Suplee are damn good in that movie as well. Joyce Romer, best Star Wars tea of the week. May the Force be with you, Outlaw. Yeah. Us going at it. There you go. Yeah, for sure. Mad Sinister McCall says, Jeff, why did you not like Bring Her Back? I loved it.
Why did I not like it? I mean, I just didn't like the script, really. Sally Hawkins was good.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. It just felt like a first film. It didn't, to me, show me anything from the Raka Raka guys that I didn't see in Talk to Me. I thought that was definitely a better movie. Yeah. I don't know, it was just like grim and depressing, and I'm just not that interested by like the VHS clips with the cult and circles, and I'm not big into the supernatural kind of elements of it.
Yeah. All right. And they're about to do their next film is going to be a documentary on deathmatch wrestling, which
baby.
Oh, I like it. Connor Przalomski says, yo, Jeff, when can we expect some Dune 3 casting news? That's a good question.
Ooh. I mean, I would imagine soon. They got Pattinson, because I was asking about this recently as well, and like, hey, are there any new big names joining Dune? They're like, all right, well, I mean, Pattinson is already in it. What more do you want? They'll cast the twins soon. I don't really know. I don't read Dune, but I was told to be on the lookout for some twins. It sounds to me. I mean, like, can I talk spoilers about Dune, or like I don't even?
I think so. I mean, it's been we're warning. We're talking some spoilers about Dune, so turn it down.
I mean, the rumor is that Zendaya is not in Dune for very long.
Just like Spider-Man 4, right? The rumors was she's not going to be in it or not be in it for long.
I heard that as well. Yeah, that she has a smaller role in that. Right. It sounds like, I mean, in Dune Messiah, like, are the leads actually more like Momoa and Florence Pugh?
Oh, interesting.
I don't know if is Timmy really like the lead in Dune Messiah? Like,
because he's the one that, if you know the story, okay. It's centered on the exposure of his decision to become this essentially a Messiah for the people, and how it possibly blows up in his face. I don't know if they're adjusting the story or whatever. And so he is going to be the lead of this movie, but I think the other roles are certainly going to have more, like Florence Pugh. They don't think you introduce her unless you know she's going to be a meatier part of part 3. And Anya Taylor-Joy as well will be a bigger part of it.
And it was those three who I heard were like the real leads of this movie.
Yeah.
I was told that Momoa is given to Chalamet as like a pet, and then becomes like his fighter or whatever.
Right.
The idea, but like, aren't there also like Momoa, Anya Taylor-Joy? Like, isn't there a romance between them?
I don't know, maybe.
Listen, I don't fucking know, dude. This is just what I'm being told.
All right.
I was also told with regards to Spider-Man that Sadie Sink was going to be an alt-universe Gwen.
Oh, so not Mayday Parker, as I was possibly told a couple weeks ago.
It changes every week, right?
I know.
It changes every week. But yeah, this week's it's that she's playing an alt-universe Gwen.
Interesting. Okay. I like that idea. I like Gwen Stacy.
I can't stand anything with alt universes. You know me. So
that's a fair point. Wait till we see Fantastic Four. That's going to be an alt universe. Mariana Barbara says, hot take. Tony Gilroy didn't spend almost a decade under George Lucas's mentorship, reading Star Wars books, directing peak Star Wars animation, and bonding with fans for years. I take the Ahsoka guy over the Andor guy to run Lucasfilm any day. Well, sure, because the Andor guy isn't going to do that 4-quadrant entertainment that Star Wars wants to be all the time. Tony marches to his own drum, and it's a more artistic drum, and it's a drum that wants to make a commentary about the world. And so it's going to be a different take than what you would get. So yes, enjoy Filoni and enjoy Carrie Beck if that happens, and we'll see what the end results are going to be. You know,
from my understanding, it's that Andor could really be enjoyed by anybody.
Yes,
and you really have to be a fucking Star Wars nerd to be into Ahsoka,
into Filoni stuff overall. Yeah.
And I get why there are Star Wars fans are saying, well, he studied under George Lucas and he read the books and he did this and that, and of course this guy's the guy to lead the next chapter. But it's, as I've said, you can be too close to something where it's like, okay, I'm the biggest Star Wars nerd there is, and now everything I do is for Star Wars nerds, and it keeps the general public at bay. Yeah. And I think that would be a huge mistake, and that's probably why Dave isn't being given the whole company to run on his own.
Yeah,
it's to have a little bit of balance in the Force, if you will.
Possibly, yeah. I am Two Fly Cam. Teen Titans is real. Any idea on what members? Beast Boy, Starfire, Raven. I know you don't follow comics, Jeff, but this stuff matters. LOL.
I assure you it doesn't, and I have no idea what members.
It does matter. We're not going to get into another battle. It does matter for team members, but yeah, like you say, you don't know who's.
When you say it matters, do you think if it's normally it's Starfires in this lineup, but now it's Coldwater? I'm not going to see this movie. Do you think that actually affects ticket sales if they don't have the right Teen Titans members?
What do you want to do when you're bringing out a group of people live action first time, right? You want to get the hardcore fans interested. If you insult the hardcore fans, you're not even going to get the casuals. So I think that's the thing. You've got to make sure you've got at least that fan base that's going to show up, and then you can start working on getting the casuals through the door. But if you piss off the hardcore fans for the beginning, who's going to do your word of mouth? So those are the things you got to be aware of in a situation like this. So I do think it matters, but it depends on the characters that they're putting in and leaving out. That's what I would say. Matt Sinister McCall says, met the new mailman today and wasn't surprised it was Pedro Pascal. He's everywhere. What actor has the best work ethic working today and of all time?
I'm trying to decipher what this means. Met the new mailman today and was so he's everywhere. Okay, what I just the best work ethic today and of all time. I mean, Kevin
Hart. He is a hard worker. He is everywhere. I would argue James Gunn because he's doing everything everywhere.
Yeah, Dwayne Johnson. I have no idea what actor has the best work ethic working today.
I mean, it depends on what you're. That's such a subjective term. What is your work ethic?
I think there is one person. It's the obvious choice.
Go ahead.
It's Tom
Cruise. Yeah, 100%.
Who has a better work ethic than Tom Cruise? I don't think so.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there's anyone better. And he loves movies. He wants to promote movies, which is what really is the big deal with his side of things. Thomas Edwards, J.K. Rowling has mentioned she would change things about the books. Do you think they will do that as another way to separate themselves from the movies? Ooh, do you think the TV? Oh, I don't know. I don't think they. That'd be so dangerous, man. What do you think, Jeff? Do you think they'll change some of the stuff from the books with J.K. Rowling's permission that would make the series stand out from the movies?
I definitely think that they need to do something to differentiate it rather than just remake scenes that have already been done on a bigger budget,
right?
With better actors. So yeah, I do think some changes would likely be welcome.
Okay, I think it's dangerous, but maybe. Peter says, saw the new J.J. Abrams movie is called Ghost Rider. Oh, saw the new J.J. Abrams movie is called Ghost Rider. Jeff, any word on what it's about? Also just saw that Don Winslow has 3 adaptations on the way, which rocks. Yeah.
I mean, I'm a huge Don Winslow guy. He's a great writer. And so I'm looking forward to all those movies. I don't think that J.J. Abrams' movie will ultimately be called Ghost Rider. I think how many things have been called Ghost Rider?
Yeah.
I don't think that that's the final title. As far as what it's about, I had the whole story in the newsletter a while ago, but I think it involved like a fantasy author who reveals that like his worlds are actually real. And there's like a young boy potentially, and then he has to go with Glenn Powell's character on a voyage. Yeah. Jenna Ortega's the princess. I don't fucking know. I thought it was going to take that May 1st date that the Avengers just gave up. That's what I'd heard, but then Warner Brothers dated Animal Friends instead. So
right, that's where to go. All right, message to McCall says, what range do horror screenplays sell for, Jeff? Jesus.
I mean, it all depends on who's buying, really, and who the writer is. Does the writer already have produced credits?
The timing.
I mean, listen, if you could start a bidding war with the right script, if everybody wants it,
right?
Yeah, it all just kind of depends. Mikal, sorry.
Yeah. All right, Al Smithy. The Alien Earth trailer looks huge. Big vision with a massive futuristic Earth. Might get some new creatures, but what's up with the 3-horned alien goat? Also, screw Blumhouse, punks. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's the one thing. I know you haven't seen it, Jeff, but that's the one thing I liked about this trailer. It's very cinematic in its approach. A lot of questions. 5 separate creatures on this crash-landed ship. Is there a possible predator? And the idea of Weyland-Yutani and their synthesoid humans. What is all of this going to mean? And Noel Hawley, who's a great showrunner for Legion and Fargo. I think that we're in good hands for this Alien Earth trailer for sure. Or series, rather, for sure. Man, Sinister McCall, Beth Sneider. Jason used a payphone, low budget.
Oh, he called me on the black phone.
Reggie Brown. Jeff, I thought you said Sinners needed $400 million to turn a profit. Had to bust your balls on that. It's all love. Jeff, your thoughts on this? I'm going to bust his balls back.
I definitely did not say that, Reggie Brown, so you're wrong. There you go.
There you go.
I said it needed $300 million to be profitable, right? Because $90 million or to $110 million plus another $40 to $60 million in marketing.
Right.
Yeah, and you're only getting half the money, so $300 million would be $150 million, and that would basically cover what we're talking about. So I definitely never said $400 million. That is a lie.
There you go. 34 Virgo, hashtag FK Jason, go play in traffic. Whoa, there you go. Scott says,
no one's saying go play in traffic. No one, I don't want any, physical harm to be done. And so like when someone called me unhinged today, it's like, I'm not unhinged. I came to them totally, of sound mind, and they fucked me over. So should I not be angry? Should I not be upset? How many times can you get kicked in the face before you say, what the fuck? Mm-hmm. And so I don't think that saying, what the fuck you, asshole, I don't think that's unhinged. I think that's just, returning fire. And I resent that text that I received this morning calling me unhinged. Like, you know what? If I'm fucking unhinged, then lose my number. I'm a lost cause. Like, look out your fucking window, dude. That's unhinged. Right. Portnoy going off on Kirk. I mean, not, I actually liked what Dave was kind of saying there, but he was unhinged in that video.
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't been unhinged even like that today. So, I think unhinged is a sliding scale, my friend.
I think only small ball people and small dick people say unhinged because people who are passionate are passionate.
Yes.
And if you're a stick in the mud, boring ass, no heartbeat having motherfucker, you're a waste of my time and I don't need you. So this idea that unhinged, which is the code word for stick in the mud a-holes who don't like anything, he's being antagonistic. I'm triggered.
Right.
Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here.
There you go. That's always been your Achilles heel. I'm like, me being unhinged has not been my Achilles heel. It's been fucking assholes who fuck me over.
Why don't you just go along and suck that
allegiance to you? I'm telling you, it's just so easy to sit atop the mountain, which is where this reporter has been, not to give it away, for 40 years.
Oh, wow.
Okay? When, like, everybody wants their stuff with you. So it's real easy to say, well, why can't you just behave? Because you always know they're going to bring you something else. That's not how I operate. I operate like this is my last scoop ever every day.
But I will say this. The fact that he texted you means you got under his skin. So
I know I'm under everybody's fucking skin.
Well, you argue unhinged. Why are you reaching? You're the sensitive one if you're reaching out to try to teach some lesson.
You had a chance to help me. You had a chance to be my boss. You obviously don't think that you could handle it.
Yeah.
You don't think that you have what it takes as a manager to manage me. And I'll say it right now. I'm not going to share where,
Yeah.
I've been working a side gig, and I've done it for the last 7 or 8 months.
Yes.
And I have an editor. I have a boss.
Yep.
I have staff meetings. I have coworkers. And you know what? They fucking love me. and there's nothing you can do to cost me that fucking job.
Yeah.
And it's just a different kind of writing. You know, I'm not trying to get scoops and stuff. When you're in the scoops game, you have to be aggressive and you have to be an asshole sometimes. I don't know any other way to do it. It'd be nice if I was the number one fucking guy and could just kick back and wait for the fucking phone to ring, but I have to go and get.
Right.
So yeah, the advice from this person, while well-intended, it's like, dude, you are living in a different universe than I am because you are the guy and I am not the guy, and I know that, and I'm not gonna be the guy by sitting on my hands and just letting you walk all over me.
And this is from one of the trades, right? So
yeah.
So he's riding Penske's dick for success. So I mean, you can argue one way or another.
Well, just going, you know, like especially like go start your own site. Go start guy.com. Okay. Don't I need Nikki Fink to act like Jeff Sneider acts now. Okay. I need Nikki Fink to build this empire, which I'm gonna fucking take out from under her in the middle of the night.
Right.
That's what happened. Start from scratch.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see how you do that.
You only exist. You only have a website because there was a woman there who was a fucking psycho. Okay? And look what she accomplished. So if I have to act like a fucking psycho, however misguided you may think that it has been, it's working out just fine. I'm not complaining.
Fair point. 34 Virgo says new promo code 20% off the newsletter. Fuck Jason. There you go. PHUCK. Jason is the code word. That is not true. Jeff is not condoning that. So, Dennis Hoffman, is John Watts still making movies? Well, I mean, just finished doing Skeleton Crew. Give the man a second to breathe before he moves on to something else. Jeff, have you heard anything with John Watts?
I mean, he's behind the number one, the best movie I've seen all year. Did you know that?
Final Destination Bloodlines.
That's right.
Yeah.
He has story credit on it.
Yeah.
And I think he chose Stein and Lebowski. What is Watts doing next? I forget. What is
I'm looking on his IMDb. I don't see anything lined up directing wise on his IMDb. So
I think he'll be just fine.
Okay. And he did the story for Final Destination Bloodlines.
He's still making movies. Yes.
Yeah. Jeff, is Mayday ever coming out? Congrats on the Goggins scoop for Street Fighter there.
Yes, Mayday is definitely coming out. I've heard really good things about Mayday. I've heard it's like Midnight Run. I don't know if it'll be out this fall or early next year, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Wayne Edwards says, hey, hello, John and Jeff. What's up, Wayne? Always good to see you, brother, man. I can't join live, unfortunately, but I wanted to send support. Love you guys. Nobody else is doing anything close to what you both are doing. Thank you, Wayne. And regardless of whether Jeff and I battle for 15 minutes about a subject, we're still doing the show. We still love each other. So
we had way worse fights than that. I just couldn't believe that one, or not fight, an argument. I just couldn't believe that was over. I literally did not get what you were asking me.
Yeah. Well, that's why we work together well, because we get over it. And that's why it's called the fucking hot mic. Samo, thoughts on the new 007 video game trailer? I think we talked about it already. Jeff hasn't seen it. I did. I enjoyed it. Thought it was good, but like Jeff said, it ain't GoldenEye. So we'll see what it ends up being once it comes out. I'm definitely going to play it. I'm playing more games now. I'm finishing up Ghost of Tsushima in the next week or two. And so I'm just playing more of these games on my free time. Aaron the Creative, has there been any rumors of Miles Morales casting, and who would your guesses for the role be? Oh man, I can't even try to guess. What about you, Jeff? Because anybody you say, it's like, well, do they have enough Latino blood in them? Are they black enough? Like there's all this kind of stuff, whoever you choose. So it's like, why even venture a guess when you'll get that kind of backlash from people?
Yeah, I got nothing for you on the Miles Morales front. Sorry.
Mr. Poppy, what a great day of infighting. Also, one of the best episodes of the Hot Mic. Jeff, sending love to you in K-Town. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Mr. Poppy. Dennis Hoffman, Jeff, heard anything on Brubaker's Criminal Show? I love those comics. You're reading right now some Brubaker stuff, right?
I actually did, yes. And I have the Criminal comics over there. One of very few comic book series that I read. I always loved it. I think it has a really cool cast. I'm looking forward to it. I haven't heard anything about a release date, but I have to imagine it won't be ready until next year. I don't know. I mean, they have Fallout Season 2 coming in December.
Very
so
soon.
I feel like December's kind of taken. What, they'll do another season of Reacher and another season of The Boys next year? Yeah, I mean, I guess it could be ready this fall. I don't know.
Kyle Wilson says, I love Mars Attacks, even though I know Tim Burton has better movies, which I also love. What movie from a beloved director that was not well received, but impacted you at the time that you saw it and you still defend it? I'll give you one. Spielberg, The Terminal. I love that movie. I know a lot of people don't like that movie, but I'm the son of immigrants. And for me, that movie appeals to me on a lot of levels. And the scene with the Indian actor from the Wes Anderson movies and stuff going to stop the plane with his broom, I burst out crying every time. There's just something really beautiful about that moment and giving about that moment that I always love. Plus the acting the cast of that film, Tucci, She McBride, Diego Luna, Zoe Saldana, Zeta Jones, and Hanks. It's amazing. So that's the film of his I always defend, even though not a lot of people like it. What about you, Jeff? Do you have a film from a director that not a lot of people like, but you do?
I mean, everybody really likes this movie, but I don't know that it was well received when it initially came out, and that is Strange Days.
The Catherine Bigelow film. Yes.
I fucking love Strange Days. I feel like people look at that movie sideways a little sometimes and think it's overstuffed and all that, but that movie is incredible. And I will defend it to my dying breath.
There you go. By the way, Angela Martell, who's a first-time commenter, says, longtime watcher, Jeff, you have every right to be upset at Blumhouse. Also, I live in San Antonio, and the Jonathan Joss story keeps changing every day here. Great show as always. Ugh, that's a shame to hear about the changing. But thank you very much, Angela. All right, so let's see where we're at. We got 3 more of these, and then we'll get to the Streamlabs questions. Dennis Hoffman, by the way, when is Max Landis coming on the show? Well, I'm glad he didn't come on this show right off the bat. Jeff, what are your thoughts? Are we going to be able to land Max Landis and have an actual honest conversation with him? Any thoughts?
I forgot to ask Max. I should text him. I know he has something. I think it's planned for July, like a new movie, a Superman thing that he was working on. So maybe he'll want to come and plug it. I don't know.
That'll be fun. Keenan Watcher, any word on the alleged Doomsday set drama? Yeah, Jeff, some rumors came out. I think you were talking about it last time, like that certain people were kept apart and their scenes were shot separately. Like, do you have anything more on this? Do you have anything more? Is it verified? What are your thoughts on it? Is someone trying to get you in trouble, Jeff? Is someone trying to get you in trouble, man?
I'll tell you, okay, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but
okay.
You guys saw me on Twitter say, hey, what's the timestamp for that question? Because we tape on Thursdays. So on Friday, an industry source who watches the show hit me up and they said, that question that you were asked at the end, that's true.
Wow.
And I spent all weekend getting the story. Now, I didn't have my laptop this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
When I finally got the full story,
oh shit!
I'll put it this way: I decided not to do anything with it. I think it would create too much of a mess. I think things have blown over. Okay. I think it was also a little overblown. And Rocha, I'll tell you off camera.
Okay, sounds good. I want to hear about it. This is a relationship business, and so when people think it and say, oh, Jeff Sneider's an asshole. It's like, if you guys only fucking knew the shit that I don't write, okay? Right. Because I care about this industry. Yeah. And the fact is that there are children all over the world who look up to these people. Ooh. Oh boy, that has a lot of levels.
And they don't need to know that, and I'm just making this up, right? This is not who it was. They don't need to know that Iron Man and Hulk are fighting. It's not right. Iron Man and Hulk. But I had to weigh that against just, relationships in the business. And do I really want to burn these people who have been good to me over the years or whoever, whatever it is. So I made the decision to not pursue that one, but credit to that comment to whoever asked us that question
last week or today. Yeah.
I don't know if they were, if they had read that somewhere I haven't seen the reports, like whoever broke that story,
right?
Who, if it was our commenter or if it was somewhere else, like good info.
Yeah. All right, so we got two more of these. Real quick, Cloud says, just got out of Dangerous Animals. So much fun. Well, there you go.
Yeah, thumbs up. I'm telling you, that's a good movie. I question why it had gotten into Cannes at first, but
right.
I could see why it made the midnight lineup.
Yeah, the schedule this week for me, this weekend, is Phoenician Scheme, Dangerous Animals, and there's one more out that comes out this weekend that I need to see, which I have not seen. I don't see it right now in the list of things over at my Regal, but I will be catching it. 34 Virgo, fuck Friday the 13th. Weird talk ingest out, Jason. I don't know how to read that, bro. So I'm gonna say that. All right, that's the super. Oh, we got one more. Smithy. I was in Strange Days, college time. People are like, quote, get on this bus and go help make a movie. I got on the bus, drove us downtown, and I was in the finale of Strange Days. Glad you like my work. Nice.
Smithy is probably one of those rioters at the end when everybody's just going crazy. Or were you making out with someone when it hit midnight?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I haven't seen that movie in a long time. It always felt kind of ahead of its time with how it was approaching things. So, yeah, so it might be fun to watch now after all these years, especially with the AI stuff happening.
Dude, I think Strange Days would make a killer remake.
Maybe even a great series.
Wrote the script.
Huh?
I think it'd make a killer remake, or like you said, a series. Imagine that fucking series of Strange Days. That would be unbelievable.
Somebody call Tony Gilroy. A Tony Gilroy Strange Days would be super interesting. All right,
who I think would do a good job with it is Garland.
Oh, Alex Garland? Yeah, great choice.
Go back to FX where you did devs and you do a Strange Days show.
Oh, I like that idea.
I think 20th Century Fox may have even distributed that movie because it's Cameron wrote it.
Right. I'm Two Fly Cam says Jack O'Connell could really make a great Clayface film into his own version of Joker, which could lead to awards and success for him. The Alien show looks awesome. Love those siren sounds. Any word on when we could see Fede's Alien Romulus follow? Well, it starts shooting according to World of Real. What I'm looking at right now, it starts shooting this October or this fall. Does this sound right to you, Jeff? Is that what you're hearing?
I haven't heard one way or the other, but like I said, I'd heard that a script existed, even though everyone wanted to deny. Well, how could Jeff Sneider know what's in the fucking script? Yes, I have heard that it's done, and it wouldn't shock me if it was ready to go by the fall, and we could probably see it next year.
Yeah, Fede Alvarez was on the Maria Nocturna podcast and said that and told her that not only is he in pre-production on the film, but he plans to start shooting the sequel this October. So that could be interesting if that actually is the plan that comes to be. We shall see. Goran T5, is there a good chance of Pattinson being the DCU Batman, or is that dead in the water? I hope not, because I think he really should be in the DCU, especially since he's a proven hit. This story will not die, Jeff. This story will not die. People want an answer. What do you
keep waiting?
Yeah, you're probably going to have to. All right, let's see. Two Fly Cam also says called Mission Impossible bombing months ago. Okay, so did a lot of people. It's simply a dead.
It was always bound to because of the money. So unless it just turned out to be a great movie that got great word of mouth like Top Gun.
Yeah,
that's the thing. They greenlit these movies sort of thinking, oh, we're going to repeat the top. Tom Cruise is back on top. He's going to deliver another Top Gun. That was not the case.
He says it's simply a dead franchise for the under 40 crowd, just like Indiana Jones and James Bond will be there soon as well. Do you think AI will be the final nail in the Hollywood coffin, job losses, etc.? I mean, we had this week LIONSGATE coming out saying that they want to explore using AI to adjust movies that have already been made to make them PG-13 or to reduce the budgets from 100 million to 50 million to make it. So, yeah, this is happening way more quickly than people think, Jeff, and it is going to overrun the industry within the year, don't you think? Within a year, rather.
I mean, yes, it's inevitable, but do I as long as I just can't imagine people being fooled by AI to the extent where we're all going to AI movies in a year or two. It seems like we're far away from that. I don't think that the storytelling is there. There's something innately human about storytelling.
Yeah.
it's part of our tradition, and I'm just not really worried about AI.
Yeah, movies as a species are our tradition. That's our tales we tell around the campfire since we were cavemen. So yeah, I hear what you're saying. Samuel says, favorite horror movie you saw so far? Also thoughts on Hard Eyes. I didn't see Hard Eyes. Jeff, do you have thoughts on that?
Hard Eyes was okay, but largely disappointing.
Favorite horror movie this year? Do you have a favorite horror movie?
Final Destination and Ugly Stepsister. All the three best movies have all been horror movies. It's those two and it's Presence.
Okay. All right. There you go. Oh, Presence.
All very different horror movies. But,
that just came on Hulu. That is now for streaming starting yesterday. So I got to take a look at that.
It's really good. Presence.
That's a Soderbergh one, right? Soderbergh?
Yes, and you think you know what it is, and I'm telling you, it's something else. The problem is you haven't heard a lot about that movie because you can't talk about it.
Right.
It gives it away, and in order for the movie to work, you can't see it coming.
Okay. Kev says, hey, Jeff, earlier you mentioned that Teen Titans should be casting soon. Can you elaborate on that? Are they close to a finished script? Are they interested in a director? Do you know anything about Teen Titans, Jeff, that's in motion?
I don't know any of those things. I think they're probably going to be, I think they're starting to meet with people. I've heard that they're also starting now officially to meet with folks on X-Men. Not to read or audition them, but more just like getting to know you, is like, we're curious about what you're all about, that kind of thing. They still have to close Jake Schreier's deal,
right?
But once that deal is done, like things are going to heat up pretty quickly. I also heard on Avengers they're going to go over a month. They had when they started, it was, we're going to go from here to here. Right. Now that end date has been pushed another month, I think.
Wow. So I want to throw something out. I heard from somebody who was on the set of the new Captain America film. Speaking of Marvel in this, they sent me this. They said there was a whole sequence where Falcon and Cap, Anthony Mackie, confronted the Serpent Society at an airport, and it was cool. He says they filmed it for like 2 weeks on a little airport, tarmac last summer. That was what Rosa Salazar and Roman Reigns, I think he's thinking Seth Rollins, were cast for. The Serpent Society had the adamantium sample, and apparently their powers originated from the adamantium, like they have had it in them already, like from the beginning. I never saw the VFX work for the serpent-like tentacles they had, but that was like done in post via VFX. So that was a scene that they apparently shot for 2 weeks and then scrapped in the movie. So fascinating. And this is from a guy who was on set while it was going on. So do with that what you will.
Yeah, it's very comic booky geek stuff.
Yeah, 100%. Jake says, hey, John and Jeff, do you know who is going to be cast as Ghost Rider for Doomsday? Because apparently people are saying Ryan Gosling might not do it because of his Star Wars movie starting production in September. Yeah, Jeff, I think you broke that on this show. So any thoughts on who you're hearing, or have you heard anybody that might be considered for Ghost Rider?
I mean, I've just heard Gosling, but I agree with the thinking that it's like, is Gosling really the type who's going to go do Star Wars and then go do Ghost Rider and stuff? It would surprise me. Yeah. He also, though, is like, looks good on a motorcycle, right? Place Beyond the Pines. I think that is one of the most iconic, like, motorcycle performances, if you will. Yeah. Okay. I think if they want to do a Midnight Suns movie, I think that is certainly in the cards. That's in motion for sure. Ghost Rider, Blade, and Moon Knight. But again, I always thought that there would be a Blade solo movie before then. So listen, I don't fucking know the order of any of this stuff right now.
Fantastic says, hello, Hot Mike. Holy shit, what a beginning to the show. Star Wars crybabies are the OG haters. They blame Kathleen Kennedy for everything they think is wrong with Star Wars. If Mando and Grogu is mid, who is getting the blame? Because I know the babies will blame her. I think that's all Favreau. Don't you think, Jeff, if Mando and Grogu doesn't turn out well? Or should she share some of the blame?
I mean, I'm sure she will and should. I mean,
it's on her watch. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, well, it's just like, what movies are we making? Okay, well, we're not going to make an original movie, we haven't had a movie on the big screen like 6 years or something.
Right.
We're not doing that. We're doing a Mandalorian movie. That's her decision, right? So you can blame her if the whole idea of the movie is bad. I mean, I can't imagine it would be like poorly made.
Right.
I just, again, this thing with credit and blame, it's like there's more than enough to go around for everybody. Why can't people share the credit?
Because it's Hollywood. You know they hate sharing the credit, but they love spreading the blame.
When Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, when this follow-up hits, right? Are we going to give Fincher the credit, or are we going to give Tarantino the credit?
Oh, it's good. Well, that's a good question. Yeah,
the whole credit thing. It's whoever's going to get it. I guess we'll see.
Okay. Mike Green 70. Fred Tastic also says, "Love my dudes showing more support. Go Lady Longhorns." All right. Is it this? Was it Hook'em Horns? I think it's Hook'em Horns.
I don't know.
Mike Green 74 says, "I never write twice, but Jeff is coming off like that Danny DeVito schlep in LA Confidential. It's too much. You won't always be right. You have to give Jason Blum respect, man. Big mistake to tell him to F off. Wrong bridge to burn." Mike Green, who the fuck are you? You don't work in this business. You have no idea what's gone on in behind the scenes and the interactions and the back and forth. Who the fuck are you to tell someone who has decades of experience in this business what the right or wrong move is? Why don't you go do anything that you're successful at and have someone come in who has no knowledge of doing that thing and tell you what you're doing wrong? For the love of God, have some fucking humility. I don't know, Jeff. What do you think?
Michael, I think, is probably one of my subscribers who is always emailing me. And, God bless you, Michael. Again, I wouldn't have just said, "Fuck you, Jason." This is how I'm being treated. I'm being treated with disrespect. You treat me like an adult, I'll treat you like an adult. You want to treat me like a fucking little kid, I'll treat you like a little kid. I mean, you get what you give in my book, and I'm fair. I really do think that I'm fair. Sometimes maybe my response, doesn't fit the offense. Sometimes I go overboard. But don't tell me that I shouldn't have a temper, or I'm human, and so when I get screwed over, it's not going to happen in private.
Yeah, I bet Mike loses it playing video games. So give me a break. Fredtastic 314 says WB could do a Harry Potter series following closely to the books because the movies veered off a lot. Well, no, the movies didn't go and create like entirely new lore. They just left certain scenes out or certain storylines out. And I imagine the series will now include them more, which will make it standalone automatically from the movies. But yeah, they could absolutely follow close to series, Fred, for sure. Jeff, any thoughts on that?
No, I've only seen 2 Harry Potter movies. The first one to make sure he's alive, and the last one to make sure he's dead.
Fair point. All right, we'll wrap up on these two because we got to go here. We're almost at the 2-hour mark. 34 Virgo, who's playing Ghost Rider? Good guess. I think we already just discussed that, Jeff.
Yeah,
yeah. Last one, Kyle Wilson. What if studios use AI to re-release classic movies with current actors aimed at a younger generation? What? No. Also, do studios buy AI movies from freelancers? That's probably on the way, but not the first part. Right?
Yes,
Jeff?
I do think somebody will eventually end up selling an AI movie to a studio. Classic movies with current actors. No, this isn't a fucking Black Mirror episode, bro.
Yeah, they wouldn't do that. But I will say this. I mean, look at how people responded to that Doomsday AI video thinking it was real. We are smarter as a society in some ways, but there is a lot of people who are fooled by technology with AI nowadays that buy stuff and don't even bother trying to find out if it's real or not. So that should scare everyone, that a majority of people probably don't give a shit that it's AI, right? And I think that's what a lot of creatives fear going forward. So, but we'll see. We'll see in the end. All right. Shall we wrap it up there, Jeff? Are we good? Anything more you want to address or talk about?
I think we covered it all, Johnny. I've got some interesting stories up my sleeve over the next week or two.
Nice.
So yeah, stay tuned to the newsletter, theinsnider.com. Subscribe wherever newsletters are found. There's only one.
And Jeff, are you taking off from our exchange with a certain somebody over at another site? Do you want to let people know we might be adjusting times yet, or no?
What do you mean? Huh?
You were saying you might be going out of town, is what I'm saying. So
yes, I am. I'm going to Boston next Friday. So next week will be at the same time.
Right.
And then once I am in Boston, we'll probably do 2 or 3 shows that will, maybe at noon PT instead of 4.
So just letting you guys know that now ahead of time, because sometimes you guys complain that you don't have enough notice. We're letting you know now.
Yes, one more show at the regular time.
Right, exactly. So there you go. All right, thanks everybody for hanging out with us. As for me, you can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Outlaw Nation on Twitch, and subscribe to the channel, please. We are marching to 50,000 subscribers. We're so close. Just only like 10,000 subscribers away. Please make sure you subscribe down below if you haven't. Thousands of you watch every week. Please make sure you subscribe. I would appreciate it. Leave your comments down below as well. And don't forget that we're a podcast. So if you want to re-listen to any parts of this without seeing our beautiful faces, you can subscribe to the podcast. Jeff, you want to say one more thing?
I mean, I'm seeing reports now that Shari Redstone reveals that she has thyroid cancer.
Oof.
So I don't know if that was sort of playing a role in her decision to sell the studio or whatever, maybe get her estate and finances in line. I haven't even clicked on the story, so I don't know what stage or anything, but she's a Massachusetts legend. My dad nearly dated Shari Redstone.
Whoa, what? Wow.
Yeah, because they both grew up around Newton. And so, thoughts go out to the Redstone family. That's obviously tough, no matter how wealthy you are.
Yeah, the statement reads that Shari Redstone was diagnosed with thyroid cancer earlier this spring. While it's been a challenging period, she is maintaining all professional and philanthropic activities throughout her treatment, which is ongoing. She and her family are grateful that her prognosis is excellent. So we will see what happens there. But yes, sending all love and support and thoughts of comfort to her. Cancer is no joke for anybody. And we've all dealt with, I think all of us have someone who has dealt with that in some way or shape, form or shape. All right. There we go. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Take care of yourselves. Be well. And we'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode of The Hot Mic. Peace until then.